From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, July 12th. We could see a couple isolated showers this morning and some more scattered showers this afternoon with highs in the upper 70s. A woman is dead after a vehicle ended up in the water on the northeast side of Indianapolis early this morning. It happened around 2 off of East 34th Street and North Shadeland Avenue. Indianapolis Fire managed to get the car out of the pond at ASAP Aquatics. It's a lake and pond care facility. So this was around 3 this morning that they got the car out, about a half hour after crews actually found the vehicle. According to IFD, the woman behind the wheel drove off the road. IFD says a male passenger in the vehicle made it out of the water before crews got there. The woman was pronounced dead at the hospital. There was no one else involved. Right now, it's not clear what direction that vehicle was traveling before it entered the pond. And firefighters pulled a stolen vehicle out of the White River near Washington Street yesterday. They say hikers spotted it and called it in. IMPD says someone reported the car stolen in Speedway. A dive team searched and said nobody was inside the vehicle in the water. And tonight, city leaders decide whether to adopt the new anti-violence strategy for Indianapolis. The City County Council will discuss and potentially vote on the mayor's violence prevention plan. If approved in a vote tonight, the plan would mean $3 million to reduce crimes and expand community-based programs. So as of this morning, Proposal 182 is on the agenda for tonight's meeting. More than half of the money will go toward the Office of Public Health and Safety in Indianapolis. Mayor Joe Hogsett says that will help with juvenile justice, domestic violence, and conflict resolution. It also uses community partners to focus in on areas of food security, offender reentry, and homelessness. Money from Proposal 182 would also go to the police department's technology and data analysis capabilities. So this plan comes on the heels of a homicide rate that is soaring in the city. The mayor says these investments will hopefully get to the root of gun violence in Indianapolis and will pay off in the long run. The Public Safety Committee sent the plan to the full council with a due pass recommendation last month. And last week, council members said they expected it to pass in a vote tonight. That City County Council meeting is set to start at 7 o'clock tonight. And today's services will begin for a Terre Haute officer killed in the line of duty. Family, friends, fellow officers, and community members are invited to a visitation for Detective Greg Ferency. It goes from 2 to 7 this afternoon into the evening at the Holman Center. Ferency's funeral is tomorrow morning at 11 at the same location. Police say Detective Ferency was ambushed near the Vigo County Courthouse last Wednesday. He'd been an officer for more than 30 years and was working as part of an FBI task force when he was shot. And today, a discussion on COVID-19 boosters. Pfizer and U.S. health officials are meeting days after the drug maker announced authorization for a third vaccine shot. Britt Conway explains why some medical experts say there is a need for the extra shot.
This week marks 7 months since the first American outside of a trial got a COVID-19 vaccine. Since then, hundreds of millions of Americans have rolled up their sleeves too. More than 56% of people who can get vaccinated, that's 12 and up, are fully vaccinated. But today, a senior health official says Pfizer will brief government officials about the potential need for a booster dose of its vaccine, after Israel released data showing a marked decline in its effectiveness from more than 90% down to about 64% as the Delta variant spreads. Now, Israel will offer a third dose of Pfizer's vaccine to people who are immunocompromised. And the UK announced last month it might offer boosters too. But the CDC and the FDA say Americans who have been fully vaccinated do not need a booster shot at this time. At this time being key.
But that doesn't mean we stop there. There are studies being done now, ongoing as we speak, about looking at the feasibility about if and when we should be boosting people.
And who should get that booster. But getting FDA approval and a formal CDC recommendation takes time.
That's a multi-month process. So if we don't get started right now, we're not going to be in a position to have boosters available should we need it come the fall.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
And searchers have recovered the body of a Rose-Hulman graduate in the rubble of the Florida condo collapse. The school shared on social media that crews found Luis Pettengill, his wife, and the youngest of their 3 children. Rose-Hulman's president wrote in part, "We extend our sympathies to the family and others who were touched by Luis's spirit and friendship." Pettingill graduated from the school in 2007 with a degree in civil engineering. And as of this morning, authorities have confirmed the deaths of 90 people in that collapse. 31 more people are still unaccounted for. Crews are still working delicately to find them and to recover and return some precious items to surviving relatives. Searchers have returned rings and other jewelry, and in at least one case, unbroken wine bottles. The workers have removed more than 14 million pounds of concrete and other debris. One of the first outside rescue teams to arrive in Surfside has now left. Organizers held a commemorative walk to recognize the work of the Israeli task force. Fire trucks gave the team a water salute over its plane as it took off from Florida. A man is behind bars this morning after police say he stabbed a woman to death at an apartment complex on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Police say it happened Saturday night around 9:30 on Constitution Drive. That's near the Lake Castleton apartment homes near 75th Street and Shadeland Avenue. IMPD found the man holding a knife in the apartment and took him into custody. The woman was pronounced dead there at the scene. Police did not give any additional details about the victim, the man taken into custody, or what may have led up to the stabbing. The Avon Police Department held a tournament over the weekend to support the family of one victim of the FedEx mass shooting. According to the department, the first annual Xander Memorial Tournament was held at RBI Softball Complex. The police department was very active on social media, kind of showing everyone what happened over the weekend. Organizers say 100% of all donations and entry fees went toward a scholarship in Matthew Alexander's memory. Alexander played baseball for Avon High School. He was one of 8 people killed during the shooting in April. And today, the funeral service for a Purdue grad golf pro killed on a course in Georgia. Friends and family gathered yesterday at his visitation to pay their respects to Gene Stiller. He and 2 other men were found shot to death on a green at the course where Stiller worked. Investigators believe Stiller was not initially a target of the killer, but was shot because he came across a crime in progress. The suspect faces several charges, including 3 counts of murder. A longtime local business has a missing trailer back, but the supplies inside are still missing. Surveillance video, it showed the theft on Saturday morning. A family that owns Montgomery Tent and Awning says the trailer turned up, but someone still has support poles and bags of tent fabric worth thousands of dollars. The owner says the company's been in business for nearly a century. They ask anyone who knows where those items are to call Crime Stoppers. Former President Donald Trump is leading the field of potential Republican candidates for the 2024 presidential race. That's according to a straw poll taken at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. Trump went over a field of dozen candidates with 70% of conference attendees saying they would vote for the former president if he were to run in 2024. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is the only other candidate in the double digits with a distant 21%. If Trump was not an option, DeSantis would lead the group with 68%. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo follows at 5%. Donald Trump Jr. comes in third at 4%. Trump wrapped up the conference last night. His speech made it clear that if he does run, he expects a rematch with President Biden.
Joe Biden has brought our country to the brink of ruin. Right here in Texas, we are the epicenter of a border and migration crisis unlike anything anyone has ever seen before in the history of our country.
The 3-day event normally serves as an audition for GOP presidential contenders. Thousands of people take to the streets in Cuba. They're protesting a lack of freedom and deepening economic problems during the pandemic. In Havana yesterday, protesters walked through the streets chanting. Police arrested at least 20 people. The country's president talked to the nation on television. He claims trade sanctions from the U.S. are creating the economic problems. Cuba is also dealing with a near halt of its tourism industry during the pandemic. Out west here in the States, firefighters are battling intensely high temperatures as they try to knock back wildfires. 2 fires burning along the California-Nevada state line have grown to about 135 square miles. Authorities say lightning strikes started both. They now refer to it as the Beckworth Complex Fire. That area is dealing with a deep drought and triple-digit temperatures. It's also historically hot in Oregon, where crews are working to put out a fire that more than tripled in size since Friday. It's called the Bootleg Fire. It scorched more than 220 square miles of a national forest in the southern part of the state. It's also forced one local highway to shut down for several hours. And today, a court date for 3 of the people arrested on weapons charges in Denver, Colorado, home to this week's Major League All-Star game. The FBI says there is no reason to believe those arrested are connected to a threat to the game. Liz Gilardi talked with a witness who says she saw police removing the guns from the hotel.
Witness video shows officers in SWAT gear in the lobby of a downtown Denver hotel.
Heavily armed, walked right out of the elevator, and she just thought, what the heck is going on here?
Susan Syverson is staying at the Maven Hotel with her family. On Friday night, her daughter saw heavily armed police in the lobby. They were told to stay in their room on the 7th floor.
So our balcony faces directly towards Coors Field. There's no building in between. You just the balcony, you can see straight across to Coors Field.
Police searched 2 hotel rooms, including one on the 8th floor. Multiple sources connected with the investigation tell Denver 7 they intercepted multiple weapons. They believe the number of weapons, ammo, vantage point, and large crowds could have resulted in a Las Vegas-style shooting. The Maven Hotel is located at 19th and Wazee, just a block away from Coors Field.
So thank you to whoever reported what they saw, because they could have circumvented a catastrophe.
On Saturday, we saw a heavy police presence at the hotel. Chief Paul Pazin stopped by and investigators wheeled out evidence.
I do wonder what happened. I would like to know what happened. I'm glad no one was hurt.
That was Liz Gilardi reporting. The FBI and ATF are helping out the Denver Police Department for security during the Major League All-Star Game festivities. And also today, President Biden is set to talk about a nationwide rise in crime. He's hosting city leaders and law enforcement officials from across the country for a discussion. The president announced last month a strategy to reduce crime. It includes efforts to crack down on illegal gun sales and firearms used in violent crimes and to invest in local policing initiatives.
What a day, what a day, what a day, what a day.
Richard Branson and his Virgin Galactic crew are ushering in a new era for spaceflight. Branson, 2 pilots, and 3 others took a 2,300-mile-per-hour ride more than 50 miles up to touch the edge of space yesterday. The roughly 1-hour experience on the VSS Unity spaceplane brought astrotourism a step closer to reality. Branson became the first person to blast off in his own spaceship. After landing, he reflected on the gravity of the accomplishment.
I think like most kids, I have dreamt of this moment since I was a kid. But honestly, nothing could prepare you for the view of Earth from space. I mean, the whole thing was just magical.
There are more than 600 people who have signed up for future Virgin Galactic flights, paying more than $200,000 each for a trip into space. 2 business headlines now. Eli Lilly and Company, which is already building a new manufacturing facility in the Research Triangle Park in North Carolina, has acquired another 102 acres of land for a possible future expansion possibility. The company paid $33 million for 102 acres in the park next to its current holdings and upcoming pharmaceutical manufacturing facility in the park. Lilly disclosed plans to build a plant and create more than 460 jobs in the Triangle area in January of 2020, but a specific location wasn't disclosed until later. Diabetes drugs are to be made at this site. China is set to hit pause on U.S. corn buying on a weak market. Its domestic harvest is approaching and local prices have slumped to the cheapest since late 2020. The world's largest importer has already bought more than 10.5 million tons of U.S. corn for the 2021-22 marketing year. The second quarter's profits for S&P 500 companies are expected to be up 65% from the same quarter a year ago. That's because the second quarter last year was in the depth of the pandemic. Refinitiv thinks that the growth will be led by a near 570% increase in profits for industrials, one of the hardest hit sectors during the pandemic. Black Widow tallied $80 million at the domestic box office during its debut, the most of any film released in the wake of the COVID epidemic. The film garnered an additional $60 million from Disney Plus sales. In addition, Black Widow tallied $78 million from international ticket sales. All right, happening around town today, a special art installation. The canoes painted by local artists will be displayed for you to see all along the White River. The White River Alliance is behind the effort to raise awareness for our waterways. It says canoes will reflect the unique elements of the river. They'll be installed today at 10 locations in Marion and Hamilton counties. The canoes will stay on display through October. The Milwaukee Bucks bounce back and give kudos to their backers. Soon after the team won Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night, the franchise tweeted, "Truly the best fans in the league." It was the first finals game in Milwaukee since 1974. The Suns still lead the series 2-1. Milwaukee will look to even it up Wednesday night. And the pride of Hamilton Southeastern High School is now an Angel. Hard-throwing Sam Bachman went number 9 in the first round of the Major League Draft last night to Los Angeles. Charlie Clifford previewed the pick for us last week. Bachman has blossomed from a solid high school career to outright flamethrower in college at Miami of Ohio. No word yet how he'll celebrate, but he told Charlie that he crushes a Hawaiian pizza before all of his starts. This has been your News 8 Daily for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast, The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.